Hello everyone, good afternoon. Today is Tuesday and as promised yesterday, we are going to talk about metabolism. Today we are going to discuss some research findings about exercise, about your metabolism, about epigenetics, about all of the changes. This is the new series of my page. It's growing from within. It's time to grow, it's time to learn, and it's time to digest some important information so that we can have more tools in order to be more awake in these new times, because we are going to enter a new era. We are changing, so metabolically we are also going to be adaptable to all of the changes. So let's start with the definition of epigenetics. Epigenetics means all of the changes that are produced by the environment in your blueprint, in your DNA. So everything that surrounds us is making changes in your DNA, such as the time you sleep, such as the food you eat, such as the exercise that you do, such as the alcohol levels that you can have, or the smoking, such as the all of the toxins that you are consuming by the air, by the water, by the processed food, by everything. Everything makes an epigenetic mark. And let me explain it in an easier way. Our blueprint is all of the letters of the code of the DNA, which are just 4 letters: adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine. All of those letters decodify all the information that is going to be used to produce proteins. But what happens if all of the information, if all of the blueprint is tainted? If I drop a glass of wine in this book of information that I have, I will taint the information and it will no longer be accessible or readable. And that's one piece of epigenetic change that can happen. So if I don't read the information correctly because it is already tainted, I will produce a defective protein. If I produce a defective protein and I start accumulating or building up these kind of defective proteins, what I'm going to produce is in the future a disease. Another type of changes that happens is that the DNA is activating some proteins that open a channel so that it can be easy to read. So if those proteins open the information so that it can be accessible to be read, then the information is decoded. But if there are some epigenetic changes that block the information, that means also that some defective proteins will produce also a disease. Those are types of changes that happen. They are called methylation, they are called acetylation, and they are called histone changes. What are the histones? I think that you can remember when you were in high school, when you were in the biology sessions, and they explained to you the DNA, the double helix of the DNA. Well, this double helix of the DNA, when you don't have, when it is DNA, it is proteins compacted all to the level like a phone cord, just like that. Just when we see the cords or the cables, inside of those cables there are a lot of small pieces of cables of metal. Well, the DNA is also compacted, and that compacting methods are produced by these histones. So if the histones are not compacting well the DNA, some pieces of the DNA will be exposed, and that will lead to epigenetic changes. Now, what is this all has to do with exercise? Well, turns out that researchers have proved and have verified this information, and we have seen a lot of changes in the DNA produced by doing exercise. What type of exercise do you have to do in order to produce changes? Well, with a moderate level of exercise, you will produce changes in your DNA that will allow you to produce better proteins. That is going to lead you to have better changes. Where am I taking this information from? It is from the Journal of Musculoskeletal Neuronal Interaction in 2013. It's the epigenetic regulation on gene expression induced by physical exercise. Exercise can have epigenetic changes in the microRNAs expression, histone modification, DNA methylation and demethylation, and it can have gene expression or gene silencing. So it can also silence genes that are toxic for your body. What an amazing research is this, because all of these mRNA expression and histone modification are also mechanisms that protect you from viruses. So this is also important for your immunity. Regulating the microRNA's expression will also lead you to have a better immunity. That is why some of the vaccines that are already being researched right now are based on microRNAs, because they are the ones that can produce that lowering of the expression of this virus that is around us right now, the COVID-19. So it is very important for you to understand that just by doing 30 minutes, 4 days per week of moderate exercise, you will allow epigenetic changes in your body that will produce better proteins, much better health. They will boost your immune system, and they will allow you to have better cognition. That is also proven. Why? Because some of the genes that express neurotransmitters and hormones, such as BDNF, which is brain-derived neurotrophic factor, that allows more connections in your brain and more clarity in your brain, will lead you to a lot of clarity and opening up your prefrontal cortex that we have talked about. Other changes that they have seen is that they reduce the expression of leptin, the one hormone that we spoke yesterday, the one that blocks your satiety levels, the one that blocks your burning of the energy and promotes the accumulation of fat. It will lower the expression of this kind of hormone just by doing 30 minutes 4 days per week. That's what has been proven. In addition to that, what is the research saying about these epigenetic changes? Well, they also found that we have an increase of MAP and ATP. What is that? ATP is the coin, it's the dollar of our body. It's the currency that we are going to allow in our body to use all of our processes, all of our metabolic processes. Well, it turns out that by doing exercise, you are increasing the ATP ratio, and you are increasing the production of calcium. Calcium is an ion, or is as a salt. Well, it is consumed as a salt, but it is an ion, it is a mineral that it is needed for plenty of metabolic pathways, such as glycolysis, which is the production of energy or pyruvate, and a lot of ATP and NADH, which is another molecule that will be exchanged for ATP in the mitochondria by the oxidative phosphorylation or the transport electron chain. So all of these carriers of energy are going to arrive to the mitochondria, and they are going to be exchanged for energy, for ATP. These are your checks for energy. So if you increase ATP and the mineral calcium and also magnesium, which is produced or it is needed for many of the metabolic pathways, you will allow the production of these molecules, pyruvate, that then will be transformed to acetyl-CoA, a very, very powerful molecule that it's going to be used in the production of ketone bodies, which we talked yesterday. What are the ketone bodies for? Remember that they are energy for your brain, they are energy for your muscles, they are energy for your lungs, they are energy for your heart, and they are energy for your kidney, the lungs and heart and kidneys. 3 organs that we need to have a lot of energy for these kind of threats, such as these viruses. So if we have a very strong production of ketone bodies, a production of minerals such as calcium, and we increase the production of ATP, we are going to have a lot of energy. We are going to open up and release and activate epigenetic mechanisms that are going to produce immune regulators. You are going to boost your immune system just by 30 minutes, 4 days per week. Just that. If you do more, of course, the benefits are going to increase. If you are not allowed to go out in your country, you can just do exercise indoors. There are plenty of videos, there are plenty of routines that you can access in YouTube or in many other platforms where you can find videos of cardiovascular exercise. That's what we need, cardiovascular exercise. Start by the beginners routines. Don't go too fast. It is a step by step. It is doing probably 10 minutes 4 times per week. Next week, 15 minutes. Next week, 20 minutes. And up to the 30 or probably 45, which is the best. So all of these recommendations are in order so that you can improve by yourself all of your metabolic pathways, including which one. And I'm just going to mention some things, some facts about this metabolic pathway. It is a metabolic pathway called pentose phosphate pathway. This one, it is used to produce a very powerful molecule that is called glutathione. The glutathione, it allows the reduction of many of our compounds, including the ones that give us energy, such as the NADH and NADPH. All of these coenzymes and carriers are very important for you to have energy. If you don't have energy, you don't have the allowance for the enzymes to start opening up the helix of the DNA and exposing the information and driving the information in the correct gene sequences so that you produce the correct proteins. So it is of paramount importance that you allow yourself to boost this pathway, this pentose phosphate pathway, because with this one you are going to produce more glutathione, which is going to reduce your compounds. It has also a very powerful antioxidant capacity. What does it mean? It will allow you to rejuvenate, to be healthier in terms of the aging process, and you will look better. Your skin, your hair, your energy, your cognition, your other pathways that are producing a lot of metabolic intermediates are going to be boosted just by activating this pathway. So I think that this is plenty of information for you so that you can start activating your life and performing some physical activity. Remember, what are the key takeaways for this session? Start doing exercise in steps. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25, 30 minutes. If you can more, keep increasing. So 4 times per week, this exercise session. What type of exercise? Cardiovascular, preferably at the beginning. Then you can start adding the muscular strength for the production of muscle. What else? Epigenetic mechanisms have been proven and activated by these exercise routines. You are increasing ATP and production of calcium and magnesium. Those two minerals are essential for most of your metabolic pathways, such as glycolysis, such as Krebs cycle, such as pentose phosphate pathway. And you are increasing your cognition levels. Why? Because you are producing dopamine, endorphins, oxytocin, and BDNF. All of these are neurotransmitters that are going to allow you to feel better, to have a better outlook of your life, to release anxious thoughts, and to start activating your brain so that you can have better performance in terms of the information that you are acquiring. Remember, also the information that we listen, that we watch, and that we produce by words is affecting the epigenetic changes. So be mindful of the information that you are allowing yourself to watch, to listen, because that also affects your DNA and your processes. Thank you very much for your attention. Thanks a lot for all the replies, comments, likes. I really appreciate that you are enjoying these sessions, and I will keep on going every day at noon Central Time to give you more lessons. Remember that this is just day 2. We are having a long road for this, and next tomorrow we are going to talk about emotions. What are the emotions doing in our body? What kind of vibrations do we need to produce positive emotions? So stay tuned. Please forward this information for some people that can have benefit from, and give me a comment, give me a like. Let me know you and let me know your experiences. Thank you very much for your attention. Have a wonderful day. See you. Bye.